Shalom. First, I want to say all praises and glory and honor is due unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakak Wadash. Double us the elder apostles and great millstone, rule well. Others and salutations to you fellow laborers, doing this work of truth and sincerity, week in and week out. Alright. This is an example of confusion right here. And the reason why, because, I decided to come on out and, prove, that the book we live by and believe in, which is the 1611 King James Version Bible. We believe it's the 100% accurate, translated truth from the Hebrew. Alright, that was translated, alright, from the Hebrew. Then you had writings in Greek, and then you had it published in Latin too, which English is a broken form of Latin. Alright, stems from Latin. Alright, so English stems from Latin. Now, in this video, why I say it's confusion is because you have the host, comedian, he looks at this whole Nation of Islam, the whole organization they have, or movement they have, with a high regard. And then he makes fun of the wacky tacky Christians, but one thing you can't do is attack the Bible. Alright, the scriptures. Alright, and Christianity is two different things. Alright, those so-called Christians don't live by this book. Okay, but I did a video, because Rizza Islam quoted the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, the charagma, the Greek for the word mark, which is prophesied in the Holy Bible. So, that's something I had pointed out in that last video. It was something quick, but I wanted to get a little more, in depth with this whole Islam thing, because that's one of the things that will be a curse to us. Matter of fact, you know what? Before I even read that, let's let you hear what this Rizza Islam, a guy of the Nation of Islam, he goes by the name of Rizza Islam. This is what he says. He pretty much confesses that the so-called blacks are the Jews. All right, now check this out.
What I learned about
message from the black man.
Oh yeah,
to live.
Oh yeah.
No, Godfrey, you might know about
That's
this.
The foundation.
That's right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this book is something that I frown upon now after listening to the minister speak on Sunday. It's called the Torah.
The Talmud.
The Talmud.
The Talmud.
Talmud.
The Torah is the one that they're supposed to read, which is that's the early books of the Bible.
Right.
That's what Moses revealed. Okay, that's what you're supposed to read as far as being a Jew. But they came up with their own book, and they stepped on it in street terminology.
And what's the name of this book again?
That's called the Talmud.
Talmud.
Talmud, which is what the Jewish scholars came up with to pretty much guide the world of Judaism, and also guide everybody on how to operate around people who are not Jews, who are black, who are women. And it says a bunch of stuff about Jesus, including him burning upside down in feces.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, brother. So that right there.
Talmud is wicked.
Yes. So the Jews, just to be very clear, the Hebrew Israelites or the Jews happen to be us, black people. That is what we are. But the
You heard it right there, man. Out of his own
people
mouth.
who orchestrated this.
Slocky. You heard it right there out of his own mouth. This man is admitting that so-called blacks, all right, it's not just so-called blacks or Negroes. You got the so-called Latinos and Native Americans. We're Israelites too, all right? But you hear him admitting that he knows that basically, in other words, that he's a Hebrew Israelite. Let's play that back again.
Talmud is wicked.
Yes, so the Jews, just to be very clear, the Hebrew Israelites or the Jews happen to be us, black people. That is what we are. But the people who orchestrated this book, came up with it, and who make the world believe that they are the chosen people happen to be Ashkenazi, Khazarian, Caucasian, Jewish people. These are white people who use the name of Judaism to shield their evil. So not all of them, but there's a very specific few who run the world. These happen to be the international bankers, the ones who run the music industry, the ones who run the film industry, Hollywood, etc., etc., etc. So it's not Judaism. It is wicked individuals using the name of Judaism or calling themselves Jews, which happens to be us, to shield their wicked practices.
There you go.
Deep. What's
So there you have it, So my question is, especially to the host, because you always want to question the Bible. You poke fun at the Bible, and you always say, when, like the date you inquired of, when, where, who, when, we make fun, poke fun at the Bible, but you notice that he's admitting to you that we're the Hebrew Israelites, all right? Not just, like I said, not just the so-called Negroes, but you got the so-called Latinos and Native Americans as well. We all make up the 12 tribes of Israel, So the question is, why is this man, excuse me, why is this man into a so-called Arab, all right, which the so-called Arabs are the descendants of Ishmael, right? Bear with me 1 second. They're the descendants of Ishmael, and the book, the Quran, is made up by an Ishmaelite, which is Muhammad. All right, and straightway, first of all, let me tell you something. If you look at the history, you can see that the Arabs was one of the main nations that was building the slave ships to put you so-called Negroes on board those slave ships from the west coast of Africa, and even from different other continents, even up in Europe. Bringing the slaves from Europe back and forth across the Atlantic, Ocean, which is called the transatlantic slave trade, which is prophesied in the Bible as well. Matter of fact, let's get that first. Let's prove that first. This is the book of Deuteronomy. Let's go up to 15 so we can understand it was being read in verse 68. All right, so 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of, sees Lord all caps, that it be Yahweh. All right, Yahweh. All right. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh, thy power, or thy God, because the word Allah was, the so-called Arabs, they speak a broken utterance, It's AHLA, Allah, and not ALLAH. That's the roll way. It's AHLA, Allah. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So, so Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, those are the true names of the Heavenly Father and the Son. All right, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. All right. Yahweh Shai is the Son. Yahweh Shai is the only begotten Son of the Most High. And then you have the Most High himself, Yahweh, all right, which means he exists. All right. And Yahweh Shai means he deliverer. Or you can say he's Savior. Okay. So, if we didn't hearken to the voice of the Lord, our God, all the curses would come upon us, right? And what does it mean to hearken? Hearken to what? The laws, commandments, and statutes, which is what he gave Moses on tablets of stones. All right, the Most High gave us his law. He gave us commandments. He gave us statutes and judgments to live by. See? And if we did that, all these curses will come upon us if we didn't keep those laws, commandments, and statutes and judgments. Okay? Now, one of the curses that befell our people We're gonna jump down to the 68th verse. And it reads, "And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again." So, right there it says that the Heavenly Father will take us into Egypt again with ships. Now, if you don't know what the word Egypt is, which is Mizraim, right? Or Batazarium, all right, in our language. But it was known for what? Bondage, all right? The house of bondage. Exodus 20, starting at 1, it says, and the power spake these words, saying, I am Yahweh thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, right, Mizraim, out of the house of bondage, right? So that's what it was known for, all right, a house of bondage. But now this time, too far. But now this time, the Lord was talking about He's going to take our people into Egypt, all right, the house of bondage again. But what? Ships. Let's read it again. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again, all right, with ships. So the house of bondage again with ships. Now, the word Egypt, well, you know the Greek language, the word there, Egypt itself, stems from the Greek. It's Iagyptos, which means bondage or slavery. Yeah, you can just Google it; it'll come right up. You just Google Egypt and just say bondage or slavery. Now they're taking it down because they're trying to, conceal the truth, even though the truth is already out. Excuse me. And when I say they, I'm talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You see? So, to the host of the show, Corey Holcomb is his name, all right? Your ancestors went into slavery by ships. You always speak about Africa. You always think Africa is your homeland, but it's not, okay? All right, Israel is your homeland. You fled there from Roman persecution, 70 A.D. All right, the Romans besieged Jerusalem. It tells you that many of the Jews fled into the interiors of Africa, which is formerly known as what? The land of Ham. The land of Ham. All right, which is one of the sons of Noah. His sons inhabited the land of, or a continent you know as Africa. It was formerly known as the land of Ham. All right. Now, excuse me. Let's get something. Because you like to speak about Africa so much. Think you're African. Let's grab this real quick. We'll go to the book of Ezekiel. Let's see where we're going to start at. Ezekiel. I'm going to read down a bit. I don't know how long this video going to be. I'm just flowing through the spirit. So if this video bore you, maybe it ain't for you. All right. But if you want to be attentive and hear this video, Lord, whether you edified, then continue on watching the video. All right. Ezekiel 20, and I'm starting 3. It says, Son of man, speak unto the elders of Israel, and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power, are ye come to inquire of me? As I live, saith the Lord power, I will not be inquired of by you. It says, Wilt thou judge them, son of man? Wilt thou judge them? Cause them to know the abominations of their fathers. And I'm bringing this precept out, all right, because this is the reason why you so-called Negroes went into the translated slave trade, ships into the house of bondage again. All right, not just you. Some of us went out from over here in the Americas to Europe and different parts of the earth too. But I'm just highlighting the so-called Negroes at this moment. Okay. Not causing the division, just because Corey Holcomb mentions the word black people all the time, and he mentions Africa. So I'm going to prove a point real quick. This is the reason why you went into slavery by ships, okay? It says, verse 5, and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power, in the day when I chose Israel and lifted up my hand unto the seed of the house of Jacob, and made myself known unto them in the land of Egypt, right? Mizraim, right? It says, when I lifted up my hand unto them, saying, I am Yahweh your power. So this is what the Most High did for us, all right? When we was in the land of Egypt, the Most High seen our affliction, and then he raised up Moses, okay? He raised up Moses. Continuing on verse 6, it says, in the day that I lifted up my hand unto them to bring them forth out of the land of Egypt into a land that I espied for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands. Yeah, because, it's Palestine and the land of Israel, that's the most delicate land on earth. It was given to us, all right, as Israelites, okay? So the Lord brought us forth out of the land of Egypt, all right, because the Egyptians was oppressing us, right? And by the way, the real Egyptians are the people south of Egypt, which are in Sudan, and the people that steal from them, okay? But the point is, all right, the Most High delivered us from them, all right? It says, verse 7, then said I unto them, cast ye away every man the abominations of his eyes, and defile not yourselves with the idols of Egypt. I am Yahweh your power. Because, why? Same thing that you see going on today was going on back then. Alright? Israelites into idol worshiping. Alright? Worshiping the gods of the heathen. Something that always moved the Heavenly Father to wrath. Okay? That's why when it says in Jeremiah the 17th chapter, it says, well, let's get it. I'll just quote it. Let's get it real quick. Jeremiah 17, I believe it's 5. Well, it's 4. Good. Jeremiah 17:4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And let's stop right there. You discontinue from your heritage because you call yourself black, you call yourself a Negro, African American. That's not your name. You really are an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. All right, the so-called blacks, the so-called Negroes. All right, you're the tribe of Judah. All right. It says, I can prove that too. It says, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. So, this is what happened. We not just Judah, all the tribes, all the 12 tribes, we burned the fire, all right, or kindled the fire of the Lord's anger, and when the Lord's anger was kindled, He caused us to go under our enemies into slavery or bondage. Okay. Verse 5. Thus saith Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusted in men, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from Yahweh. Bashem Yahushua. Because you look. I read the next verse because you look at these guys into this Islam. Well, I just call them guys because they are Israelites. But you look at these Israelites that's into Islam, and you have them on the high regard, but really they lead you astray. As you heard out of the horse's mouth, or one of the horse's mouth, that they know that they Hebrew Israelites. Okay. All right. So, I mean, that's confusion in itself. All right. So, but back to this point right here. You want to know why you went into slavery? In cargo slave ships, because the Heavenly Father, all right, ordained that. All right, the Heavenly Father put the spirit on these heathens to put us in slavery. All right. All right, it's for our disobedience, for one. All right. Let's start with that. Our disobedience as a nation. Let's go back to Ezekiel 20:7. It says, "Then said I unto them, Cast ye away every man the abomination of his eyes, and defile not yourselves with the idols of Egypt. I am Yahweh your power." So, what do our people do this very day? They defile themselves with the idols of Egypt. You got Zoe Williams on your show. He's into that Kemetic, Egyptology nonsense. You don't question those books. You don't question the Quran, do you? And the Quran is very weird, by the way. All right. I could, matter of fact, in the next video, I'm gonna pull something up about that. All right. But that's for the next video. This is verse 8. It says, "But they rebelled against me." Well, first of all, the abomination of our eyes, which are the idols of Egypt, right? Check this out. That's something that the Heavenly Father is utterly against. Because going back to Exodus 20, the 20th chapter, he said to have no other gods before him. Let's go with that. Yeah, Exodus 20 and 1, it says, "I am Yahweh thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me." See? And by you looking into these different, gods of the heathen, that's putting other gods before our power, because our power truly exists. Our power truly exists. So, for you Israelites that's later depend on the gods of the heathen, it's really a shameful thing when you look at it. Okay? Back in Ezekiel 20 and verse 8, it says, "But they rebelled against me, and when they hearkened unto me, they did not every man cast away the abominations of their eyes, neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Egypt." So this is what's going on, man. This is what's going on to this very day as well. Alright? So the Lord, the Most High, poured his fury upon us. Slavery. Okay? So you think about slavery. Now, before I even go into it, we know that the heathen, for our affliction, they did extra stuff to us, extra things to us that was very, very horrific, inhumane, and grotesque. All right, just a lot of heinous acts against us. Right, we know that. The scriptures even say that. But the point is, the Heavenly Father allowed us to go into slavery because it was time for us to, drink of that cup, which is slavery. All right. So now let's go. Can you see he brought us from forth? He brought us forth from among those Egyptians. Now, while doing so, the Most High Heavenly Father did evil to the Egyptians. Bet you didn't know that, huh? All right. Matter of fact, before I get that, well, you know what? That's cool. Let me continue with this. Psalms 105. Start at 4. It says, Seek Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, in his strength. Seek his face evermore. Remember his marvelous works that he had done, his wonders, and the judgments of his mouth. O you seed of Abraham, his servant. By the way, Abraham is the father of Ishmael. All right. Abraham spoke Hebrew. Okay. Sarah spoke Hebrew. Hagar spoke Hebrew. So what do you think the children spoke? But you had one by Sarah, Isaac, whom the promise continued to. It went from Abraham, Isaac, and then Jacob, and it rested with Jacob and his descendants, which we are those descendants, right? See? The Lord ain't dealing with Ishmael. The Quran is a book of Ishmaelite philosophy, man. So-called Arab philosophy. Okay, it says, well, in verse 6 it says, O ye seed of Abraham his servant, ye children of Jacob his chosen. Yet Jacob name changed to Israel. It says, he is Yahweh. All right, he is Yahweh our power. His judgments are in all the earth. Now let's jump down. Because even the Quran reference, you know, the blessings or favor that is bestowed upon the children of Israel. They basically acknowledge that we're the chosen people. So why would you want to even consent to them, you know, to their religion, if you will, to begin with? Okay. Why not subscribe to our book, which is the Holy Bible, 1611 King James Version Bible, which King James was a so-called Negro. All right, he wasn't he was not a homosexual. I heard, you know, Reza Islam say that in one video. No, it was a so-called white man, an Edomite. All right, an Edomite, which, you know, they're the nation of devils in the Bible. All right, but they're the ones that you know, excuse me. All right, excuse me. I was saying, like I was saying though, you know, the so-called white man, Edom. All right, pretty much. But it's like I lost my train of thought. I was get ready to say something before I choke, but anyways, continuing on. I'm at verse 7. It says, "He is Yahweh, our power. His judgments are in all the earth. He had remembered his covenant forever, the word which he committed to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant." So, all right, this is basically letting you know that the Heavenly Father is dealing with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, and who? Israel. The everlasting covenant with Israel. So let's go down a little bit. See what they did to these Egyptians. Since you like to speak on, you know, Africa and the Egyptians and Egypt and all this old silly stuff. You know, cause you know Jake full of nonsense, man. Even this guy that come on the show too. I remember this guy Tariq Nasheed. He always want to bring up the gods of Egypt. You know, all of those silly nonsense, man. Where was the gods of Egypt when the Most High was destroying their shit? You know, that's the big question. Why did he stop the Most High? The answer is because they don't exist. The Most High exists. The Most High and the Son exists. All right, Psalms 105 and let's see. I'm gonna go down a bit. Verse 23. It says, Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. That's the original name of the land of Africa, the land of Ham. All right, Ham. All right, which means hot. It says, Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. And he increased his people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies. He turned their heart to hate his people, to deal subtly with his servants. He sent Moses, his servant, and Aaron, whom he had chosen. They showed his signs among them and wonders in the land of Ham. Now listen up. This is what he did. All right, to all you Kemetic, simple-minded Negroes that want to believe in this stuff. All right, this is what he did to them. Verse 28, it says, he sent darkness and made it dark. and they rebelled not against his word. He turned their waters into blood, and it says they slew their fish. Their land brought forth frogs in abundance in the chambers of their kings. He spake, and there came different sorts of flies and lice in all their coasts. He gave them hail for rain and flaming fire in their land. He smote their vines, also in their fig trees, and brake the trees of their coast. He spake, and the locusts came, and caterpillars, and that without number. It did eat up all the herbs in their land, and devoured the fruit of their ground. He smote also all the firstborn in their land, the chief of all their strength. You see, he brought them forth also with silver and gold, and there was not one feeble person among their tribes. Egypt was glad when they departed, for the fear of them fell upon them. See, so, this is what happened to the Egyptians, man. But you want to subscribe to the gods of Egypt. Well, the gods of Egypt didn't even show up to protect the Egyptians. Well, the Most High Yahweh, was overthrowing their stuff, or their kingdom. See? Basically, what you're going to come to realize that the Most High, Heavenly Father Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, which is his only begotten Son, they exist. They exist, and not these heathen gods. Okay, that's the point I want to make. Now, concerning Ishmael. Alright, you got you Israelites into Islam. Alright. And like I said, it's an Arab philosophy book. And matter of fact, it's an Arab philosophy book. That's it. Nothing more, Now, to prove Abraham was a Hebrew, Genesis 14 and 13. Excuse me. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Adar, and these were confederate with Abram. See? So before he was Abraham, he was Abram, which Abram means Abraham, exalted father, and then Abraham, meaning exalted father of many, or father of a multitude. Or father of many, you could say that too. Exalted father of many, or father of many. So, Ishmael, which was just one of the sons of Abraham, he spoke Hebrew. Okay, now, speaking of Ishmael, excuse me. Yeah, Genesis 17 and 18. See, the so-called Arabs, they put their Quran, excuse me, I believe bits and parts of the Torah. It's really the Torah, but that was given. All right, it goes back to the law. The law of Moses, basically what I'm referring to. I just said the Yiddish, the Yiddish version, and I just said the real actual Paleo Hebrew, how you pronounce it, Torah, all right, and not Torah. All right, there's no O in the Hebrew, for one. But anyways, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 18. It says, "And Abraham Now this is what his name Abraham, right? It says, and Abraham said unto the heavenly Father, "Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee." And the heavenly Father said, "Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son, indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him." So Abraham wanted, Ishmael to stand before the Lord, right, or live before the Lord. The Lord said no. All right, Sarah, your wife, gonna have you a son. You're gonna put your seed in her, and she's gonna bring forth a son. All right, you're gonna call his name Isaac, which that has a meaning to it as well. It means laughter, just to tell you briefly, because they laughed at the Heavenly Father and the angel about them going to have a child, in their old age. Abraham was 100, Sarah was 90. All right, so I'll continue. But before I move on, I want to say you see that. All right, Abraham wanted Ishmael to live before the Heavenly Father, but it was not so with the Heavenly Father. The Heavenly Father, all right, was going to give him Isaac. All right, and Isaac was going to be the one that the covenant would be established with. All right, so right there, it tells you, well, if you got any common sense, right, the Lord's not dealing with Ishmael. The Lord is dealing with Isaac, his brother, clearly. And then from Isaac, it went to who? Well, Isaac had twins that were fraternal twins, Esau and Jacob. All right, it went to Jacob. You see. And by the way, Abraham had more sons. He had sons with Keturah as well. But still, it went to who? The covenant went to Isaac. Verse 20, it says, "And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him. It will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year." So, all right, the covenant was not established with Ishmael. Verse 22, and he left off talking with him. And the Heavenly Father went up from Abraham. Verse 23, and Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day, as the Heavenly Father had said unto him. See? So, pretty much, that's it with Ishmael. Now, the question I was asking was, why would you consider to an Arab philosophy book, which is the Quran, seeing that the Lord ain't dealing with Ishmael? And then you go back to the book of the curses, that was, let's see here, that was one of the things that, that was one of the curses that our people would get placed upon them was, 60, Deuteronomy 28:64 says, "And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even with a stone." So this actually happened. This took place because the woods represents, Christianity, with the cross and everything, which goes back to Roman Catholicism. And then you have the stone, which represents the Coptic stone. Okay? And ask Islam about the Coptic stone. All right? The Coptic stone is something that they worship, a stone, a rock. So, You know, you gonna get into worshiping the rock? That proves to you that the you know the heathens gods are just no gods at all in reality. Uh, Psalms 96:5, it says, "For all the gods of the nations are idols, but Yahweh made the heavens." You better believe that. He made it, and he made it through his son Yahweh Shai, whom he gave the blueprint in order to create uh, uh, the heavens and the earth. Okay, especially dealing with the earth. All right. So I want to go from there, and I want to hit. Oh yeah, cut. Yeah. It was another point I want to prove, because he mentions the word black all the time. Black. Now we don't make it a color thing, as you Akim know. We all don't make it a color thing, but there's very color description within the Bible, because you got some of the guys, they think the Bible is a so-called white man's book, which doesn't make any sense at all. Seeing that if you could read the Bible and not just read it, but read it with understanding, you'll see that this book actually condemns the so-called white man. All right, clearly does. All right, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2, it says, "Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the crown of Jerusalem is going up." See, they are black unto the ground. Now, let's go to the blue letter and get that. Let's go to the blue letter. Jeremiah 14. Click on 2, interlinear. Go to the word black. Remember, Koroko said black. The word there is Quadar. It says to moon be dark, to darken, cause the moon to grow dark. Really, what it's referred to is the skin. All right. It says to be of a dirty, blackish color, as of a sunburnt skin. Basically, in other words, it just said that they are dark. All right, because if the sun was to burn your skin, right? It says blackish color, right? No such thing as blackish, but this is the bastard's tongue, so they make up many words in this English language. But it says blackish color, which the ground is different shades of brown, from solid brown to a deep, rich dark brown, which is the good soil. All right, but the point is, it's referred to, all right, the color of a people. All right, it says as of a sunburnt skin. A sunburnt skin is not red. Now, if you were Edomite and you're actually red, you're gonna get redder, which you will see sunburnt make them super red. But with us, the sun just make us simply dark. If you're brown, you get just browner. All right, you get browner. Now, while I'm in this mood to show you some black scriptures, since this is a white man's book. And by the way, the word Jew comes from the word Judah in the English language, which that letter J, they come around to about 1624. All right, when they added on from the I and made the hook under it. And that's where the J came in at. You look that up. All right, so this is Songs of Solomon 1. We'll go on to verse 5. It says, Songs of Solomon. It says, let's start at 1. It says, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. So this is King Solomon, by the way. All right, so listen up. It says, King Solomon says, verse 5, I am black, but comely. All right. I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. You know, Kedar goes back to, I believe, one of Ishmael Ishmael had a son named Kedar, which means, when you go to the word Kedar, it means to be dark. Matter of fact, let's click on it. I believe it's been a while, but I believe it meant the same thing. Kedar, yeah. Yeah, Kedar. See, this is what it should have said in Jeremiah 15:2, 14:2, which it did say dark, but you have to go into the lexicon and all that. See, it says black skin. It says black skinned man. It says of a son of Ishmael. So yeah. So Ishmael had a son. His name was Kedar. What does Kedar mean? To be dark skinned. All right. So there you go. Let's go back and finish reading Song of Solomon's. It says, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, which is Kedar again, same for 14:2, in Jeremiah 14:2, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun had looked upon me, my mother's children. See, the sun look upon us, what happens? We get darker. See? That's what it means when it says that see in Jeremiah 14:2 on the blue letter, it said what? Blackish color. It says as of the sun burnt skin. Well, that's what it means when King Solomon said the sun had looked upon me. Meaning what? The sun made him darker. Right? So you want to see that the people in this book are so-called black and brown people. I'm showing you the so-called blacks right now. What are the black scriptures that I could go to? Since you like the word black so much. Yeah. Job 30:30, it says, my skin is, this is the book of Job. This is Job. He said this in verse 30. It says, my skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. So this Job says his skin is black upon him, and his bones are burned with heat. Now what do you mean by that? What the word for black we got right here, the blue letter, in Job 30:30. Let's see here. So we got a different word, which the word right here is shakar. All right, that's the real word shakar, and that is how you say black in the Hebrew. To be black of skin. See? But I thought it was a so-called white man book. See? You guys are just full of it. You don't want to submit to, the book that was, written by our forefathers. All right? The prophets of old, which is also known as seers. They had, their visions written in paper. Matter of fact, let's get that before I go there. Second Esdras. This book is vast with history, man. It tells you the past, present, and the future. It's a living book right here. Excuse me. Excuse me. 2 Ezra 15, verse 1 and 2. And it reads, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. Shalaki before I was interrupted. 2 Ezra 15:1, it says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So, what's the paper we have? The Bible. See? So, this is what we live by. This is what we govern ourselves by. This is what we refer to. All right, when someone has questions and we answer those individuals with the scriptures. You know, the thing is, knowledge and understanding of the scriptures, all right, the wisdom of the scriptures, you know, they haven't been given to all our people. You know, there's the election. All right, there's the election, and pretty much, if you're not part of that, it's not given to you. Okay. Matter of fact, before I get that, Slakia, yeah, say calling my phone. Excuse me. Let's get a precept. I made mention about this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures is not given to all Israel. This is Matthew 13 and 10. It says, And the disciples came and said to him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? Because the Lord, when he spoke to his men, he spoke to them directly. All right, and there were chosen of the chosen people, which are the Israelites, that was chosen to get the knowledge and understanding of the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. All right, because it goes on to say, well, this is our Lord speaking in red, verse 11. He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So, you know, you're not one of the ones the Lord want to to reveal his mysteries to. All right. Another precept come to mind is Romans 11, I believe it's verse 7. Yeah, Romans 11:7. What then Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it. Excuse me. But the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. You know, that's what it's all about, really. You know, the whole nation did receive this. All right, there was only certain of the elect nation that received this. All right, so with that, I want to say, Lord willing, you're edified. And until next time, I want to say shalom.